Here's an interesting fact for you. Since the beginning of the year 2000, 6% of the world's population was using the internet, but right now, almost 20 years later in the present year of 2019, that number has climbed over 55%. Because of this, the way people do shopping has been revolutionized since the introduction of e-commerce. Not only that, in this rise of the digital age, there's been a huge growth of new opportunities for new entrepreneurs crossing over from the employee quadrant to run an online business and work independently for themselves. With the power of the internet, the ability to create large income streams from never having to create a traditional brick and mortar business is now truly possible, in fact, not uncommon. We can see there's a lot of money to be made online, such as with YouTube, Amazon, affiliate marketing, social media marketing, and so on. Now, you can make extraordinary income from these avenues, but surprisingly, it's not just about how much money you earn. What sets you apart from the majority of the world is what you do with the money that really matters, especially if you're brand new in the business world. Tell me, if you received a large commission check that you made from your business, would you immediately deposit it in your own personal bank account? Interesting. If you said yes, there's a high chance you'll probably end up like the rest of the 80% of the population that will probably have to work continuously for money for the rest of their lives. Now, that's because there's 3 different kinds of business strategies from each of the 80%, 15%, and the upper 5% of the population. Let's break it down for you. 80% of the population, when they get older, they usually have to work to make money or become dependent upon the government or their family. Next, 15% of the population, which is considered the middle class, they live comfortable lives and usually end up with a net worth of $1 million. And then there's the upper 5%, which their net worth has to be around $5 million or more. Now, you have an overview of 3 different groups of the population. By the end of this, you will learn the differences of each of these groups and the best ideas to manage money like the upper 5% using their business strategy. So, let's get started with the 80%. Let's say Joe right here earned a commission check from his marketing business, and that check is $5,000. Like everybody, Joe is excited to receive the commission check and he deposits it in his own personal bank account. Now, this might seem normal for many of you. The problem is if you run a business, that $5,000 is untaxed and you don't own all of it. The biggest mistake average business owners make is when they get a check, they start spending that money. In fact, the bigger the check, the more they start spending. They'll never think about debt reduction, which is a huge problem because they'll think they'll do it later. Once you deposit it in your own personal bank account, it's considered yours now and you're already missing out the tax benefits, and eventually you'll have to overpay in taxes because your own personal bank account is not an LLC, an S Corp, limited partnership, or a corporation. Now let's take a look how the 15% would have handled that same commission check of $5,000. They understand that the government will be taking their portion of the money. So in this case we have Darren. He was smart enough to create an LLC for his business. So technically he doesn't own the business as something personal, so he's eligible to all the tax advantages. He gets the same check, but now instead of depositing in his own personal bank account, the check goes right into a business account and the money automatically splits in 3 separate accounts. The check hits the business account and instantly $1,650 of the $5,000 goes directly in Darren's tax account. That's 33% that will be untouched and saved for later when the time comes to pay his taxes. Next, $1,650 goes into his business expense account. This is where he runs his business that has expenses such as marketing, advertisement, cost of products, etc. As an entrepreneur, you're going to run a business. In this account, you should start taking better write-offs, so having a hired CPA will be beneficial. And finally, 34% of the money gets transferred in the home account, leaving $1,700. Now, simply doing this gets you better organized and prepared to manage your money without any hassles when it's time to do your taxes. And the biggest advantage you'll able to notice is you'll have more savings in your bank account by the end of the year, and so you're going to be more happy to able to pay off your taxes at a lower rate with great business write-offs. Now let's take a look how the upper 5% does it. Let's say Susan gets the same commission check of $5,000. What happens? Actually, everything starts off the same as Darren, but right now we see the money get split up even more once it goes through the third account, which is called the investment account. And so here's where things start to get really interesting. The investment account operates in a systematic way where the wealthy can organize different accounts, each with their own special task. The money gets split up into the home expense, a retirement savings, into an account such as for entertainment. Within these accounts, you can see some of them are basically assets which can grow over time as new checks come in. The more the assets grow, the more passive income pours in, which ultimately leads to bigger checks coming in through this cycle, which creates a snowball effect over time. The powerful part about this is that the upper 5% takes advantage of hiring or outsourcing tasks through their own business account. This becomes a write-off for their own business, which ultimately becomes a win-win situation because it supplies more time for themselves to focus on other important matters. For example, if I run an Amazon FBA business, I can take my own time to create okay pictures for the product, or I can hire a professional who can take beautiful pictures, and whatever I pay that person, I can document that as a business write-off. That's pretty smart. And now you see how you can manage like the upper 5%. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more stuff like this. Besides that, stay tuned.